this Odoo inventory talk. So before starting, I would like to do a little warm-up with you. So do it, please, because it's quite important for the rest of the presentation. So what you're going to do now is put your hands like that. You are going to cross them. Can you please do it? Right. 1, 2, 3, and cross. Some of them manage, but some of them are still blocked. And this is exactly what you have in reservation situation in Odoo. Basically, right now, as a customer or a partner, you have been faced to complex reservation situation in Odoo. And my today's role is to show you how can you manage with Odoo more flexible the reservation. Because flexibility is really crucial in inventory. While for keeping customers' needs, adapting to market dynamics, optimizing inventory levels. This is really important. It enables businesses to strike a balance between efficient inventory management No, it's there.
T'as dupliqué ton écran?
Yes.
C'est en français ou en anglais?
Non, je suis bon là.
Ouais, ça apparaît mal sur le truc.
Bah, je sais pas pourquoi.
Slideshow. Ouais, c'est pas ça le souci.
You've seen the slides before?
C'est chez toi.
There. Okay. So maybe we'll do it again. So basically, I'm here today to show you how you can actually use the Odoo flexibility in reservation to manage complex reservation situation you have encountered as a customer or a partner doing an implementation. Because flexibility is really crucial in stock reservation for meeting customers' needs, adapting market dynamics, like optimizing inventory levels, but also keeping a competitive advantage. It enables businesses to strike a balance between efficient inventory management, but also exceptional customer satisfaction. Let's move on now, quickly. So this here shows you two different notions we have in Odoo: immediate transfer and planned transfer. Maybe for some of you, this is not clear at all what it is. Maybe you're not using it correctly. And I admit that this is not obvious. This is why now in Odoo 17, we've decided to get rid of these two notions. Yes, you heard it well. Now you will basically just create a new transfer when required, either from your operations or directly from your transfer. The keyword is keep it simple. What's going to happen when creating a new transfer from scratch now in Odoo 17? First, you'll be in the draft status. Then you'll have to actually put the demand for your product, and then you'll have two options. Either you will press on the validate button so that it directly moves the transfer from draft to done, or you will go to the mark as to do options, which goes through the reservation process in Odoo. In that case, Odoo will actually check the available quantity that can be reserved in the source location in order to be moved to the destination location. Moreover, we have get rid of the reserved and the done quantity field on the transfer in order to merge them into a single field called quantity. This quantity corresponds to the quantity reserved or moved. And this is really convenient because now this field is editable directly from this view. It means that you can allocate actually less quantity than what has been suggested by Odoo following the reservation method. It means that it brings you more flexibility in terms of reservation. Let's dive now to a new features we have in Odoo 17, a new removal strategy. And I'm sure you're amazed about it and you would like to discover more. This new removal strategy, is called list packages. List packages will be available among the existing removal strategy on your product category, for instance. But let's take an example. A client places an order for 83 kilograms, and following a list packages removal strategy, Odoo will choose big bag number 2. It means that in this case, Odoo will take the optimal package in order to fulfill the entire demand of your customer. For businesses working with big bags, pallets, big packages, it is better for them to send the operators only one time or less time to the same location in order to fulfill the entire demand. This is why here, taking the right package is really optimal. Now, let's jump to our forecasted report that has been pushed to the next level. On the forecasted report right now, you have a better overview of where the products are reserved. As well, you have also a better overview of where the product stands in the input zone. And here, for the stock in transit section, as you can see on the slide, is actually related to the product you have received in the input zone, but not yet in stock. It means that as soon as they arrive in the stock, they will be actually reserved for the sales order here, 31. The section free stock in transit corresponds to the quantity that is already received in an input zone, not yet in stock, and that will be available to be reserved for future sales orders. As well, now on this forecasted report, you have a direct link to the transfer related, so that you can jump directly to the transfer and manage some reservation from there as well. Of course, we keep what's working good, the unreserved and the reserve button, and other sections showing you a bit more about your stock available and stuff. Now, the last part is about reservation method. On your operation type, you have the possibility to choose among 3 different options. The at confirmation one, which will be used in a fast-paced environment in which you have sales order that should be fulfilled as soon as possible. But as well, some businesses would like to reserve the quantity as soon as the sales order is confirmed, but would like to manage exceptional cases by going to the forecasted report, either on the transfer. The manual option is really useful if you want to set your own rules of triggering this reservation. It means that in the list of transfers, so in the list view, you can group by, filter, and you can launch the reservation whenever you want. And of course, you can do it as well directly on the transfer. And the last option is the before scheduled date. This one will be actually used in order to avoid blocking a certain amount of products for a long time. Let's take an example. You have a sales order that is placed for today with a delivery date planned in 3 months. But in the meantime, you have sales order coming in, and you don't want to block that quantity for this first sales order in order to fulfill the demand of this more urgent sales order. In that case, you can use that one if you want. And as well, you can have a more specific configuration based on your start pickings. The keyword here is like choose the reservation method based on your reality. Okay, now let's go to Odoo Solar, our business. So Odoo Solar is selling and installing solar panels on the roof. So we have basically 3 kinds of product here that we are going to check together. Solar panels and inverter, which are tracked by serial numbers, and the racking system, which is composed of mounting frames and some roof attachments. So let's dive now into our database. Did you remove it? All right, so we are on our database here, and right now I would like to go to the receipt and show you that I received solar panels here already from my supplier. What I want to show you here is that usually in my business, my customer asks for 20 solar panels to be set on the roof. This is why when I'm receiving products in stock, what I do is that I try to pack them on one pallet for a batch of 20 solar panels. Okay? So here, if I open the little burger view, I can clearly see that I received all those serial numbers, and all those ones are received into a package which is called pack 001 for the 20 units. So now, that being said, let's jump back to our product and see what we have currently in stock. If I group by package, I clearly see that here I have already 3 packages. The pack 1 and pack 2 have been created before, and the pack 001 is just the one we created right now. You see that the quantity here is not full. That being said, I would like to create a sales order with you. And here, let's say that Abigail Peterson is our first client. This client is actually a VIP client because she already installed solar panels on previous houses, and she told me that she will build more houses in the future. So I really don't want to upset that customer. Here, I'm using the quotation template, and basically, I will update the quantity easily here on my sales order for the 20 solar panels I would like to order. This customer would like to be delivered in actually 10 days. So here, I will just go and set the date. Then being done, I can confirm it. What I would like to show you is that on this first transfer, if I'm diving into it, I see that all the demand is fulfilled thanks to the reserved quantity. And here, if I jump into this little burger view, I clearly see that all my solar panels have been picked into my package number 001 that we just created together. It means that here we are using the least packages strategy, and Odoo picked the right package in order to fulfill the entire demand. Before, we have been used like the pack number 1 and pack number 2 in order to fulfill that demand. Moreover, the mounting frames are tracked by lot number because my supplier provides this to me when I receive the product. And this is quite important because I would like to maintain these consistencies in terms of measurements and cuts, and would like to, as most as possible, to deliver only one lot to my customer when installing the solar panels on the roof. So here, basically, I see that Odoo reserved the lot 1 and the lot 2. Now, in Odoo 17, what we can check is add a line and see what we have currently available in stock. It means that at that point, we clearly see that we have 40 units here, in this case, available. Let's quickly add this line and remove these 2, because I really prefer to actually give that lot to my customer instead of taking 2 lots. I can save it. That being done, we are going now to create a second sales order together for Brandon Freeman. Brandon Freeman would like to be delivered in 7 days. So here, I just select the delivery date, and here, it will be for exactly the same amount of solar panels. I do not have a lot to show you on this one, but basically, it is really needed for the rest of the presentation. And here, we see that we have already the quantity reserved. Now, let's go back to the slides, and here, we are going to actually see that we've created 2 sales orders. The first one for our VIP customer, and the second one here that is placed for 7 days, in 7 days. Now we are going to introduce a third sales order. And we can clearly see that we'll have some shortage in stock. For this sales order, the demand is for 10 solar panels, but we do not have enough, either for inverter and the mounting frames neither. What I would like to show you today is how, thanks to the flexibility in reservation, we'll manage to actually satisfy the tree of my customer by just checking all the information Odoo is providing to me. What's going to happen? For this sales order, I will be able actually to transfer one inverter from this one to the sales order number 3, because I will see in the system that I have already a purchase order with an expected delivery date on that same day, which means that I will be able and still able to actually deliver my client on time. Second point is that we are going to transfer a partial quantity of the total reserved quantity from this sales order to the sales order number 3, so that actually this one will receive 10 solar panels out of 20, and we see that we are going to actually deliver the 10 rest of solar panels just 7 days after. And we just called the client, and he told us that that's okay because they can use the solar panels from that week here in 7 days. And finally, we have the mounting frames, and we'll see actually that we have a purchase order already received, and the products are still in the input zone. So let's have a look to all of these in the database. To do that, I will create another sales order for Floyd Stewart. And this one would be delivered exactly the same day as our previous one, so the 16th. All good. Now I will just adapt the quantity here, and now we are going to dive into, I will just do that one. All good. So now I can confirm, I can go to my transfers and on the picking. And clearly here, I see that I have shortage and issues in reservations. So what I can do now is going to this forecasted report and see what I can do. Clearly here, I don't want to touch to this sales order related to Abigail Peterson because this is still my VIP customer. But what I can do is that either I click on the unreserved, but then I will unreserve the full quantity here, or I can go now into the transfer itself and change the quantity reserved here automatically, which was not possible before Odoo 17. That being done, I can go back to the forecasted report. And here we see that we have an inventory on hand available to be reserved. What I would like to do is to put a priority on the sales order number 3 for Floyd Stewart. So I will star it, and now, that's because it's starred, I can reserve the quantity for this one. All good, because Brandon Freeman told me that it's okay for the 10 rest of solar panels that should be shipped, so I will do it later on the 23rd of November. Let's go back to the pick. I will have a look now to the inverter. Here, we clearly see that we have a purchase order with a receipt date planned for the 19th of November, which is exactly the same date as our delivery here for Abigail Peterson. So now what I can do is that either I go to the picking or I use the unreserve button here. By unreserving it, I will be able to reserve it for this Floyd Stewart customer. After doing it here, I'm all good to go, because I will be available to deliver this customer, so this VIP customer on time, since these 2 dates are corresponding. Now, let's go back to the picking, and now we have here the mounting frames. On the mounting frames, we see that the graph of the forecasted report is still green. When diving into it, I clearly see that I have a stock in transit of 10 units here that can be assigned to the Floyd Stewart customer. In this case, what I will do is that I will call my warehouse operators and see, okay, why those solar panels are still blocking in the input zone. Is there a reason or not? And after having an answer from them, they just told me that they're all good to go after the quality check, so let's do it together. We clearly see that we have an internal transfer from this operator, and here we have just to validate the fact that we are going to move these mounting frames from the input zone to the stock zone. By doing this, we clearly see that now we have in our sales order, I'll go back to it, we clearly see that now we have all the quantity that are reserved. It means that now we are able, thanks to more flexibility in reservation in Odoo 17, satisfy 3 of my customers instead of 2, which is far more better. So I just want to come back to this little warm-up we did at the beginning. So you were blocked like that, but now you are able to open your arms. And this is important. Right now in Odoo, thanks to more flexibility, you will be able to manage situations in where you were blocked before. You will manage the reservation better than before, than the existing features, but also the new ones. You will do it faster thanks to the tips and tricks you have learned today. And you will do it stronger because you will see the reservation more reliable than before. Thank you for your attention, and now let's move on to the Q&A session.
All right. Thank you, Louis, for the talk. Really interesting. So if you guys have any question, please feel free to ask. And we got 2 questions, actually. So first one, when unreserving from the forecast view, do you unreserve that product or the whole picking?
Yeah, so this is really a good question. Before in Odoo 16, when clicking on this unreserved button that you've seen on the forecasted report, it was like unreserving the entire picking, all right? But now it's only unreserved that specific product related to this transfer, which is really more convenient.
Okay. We got another question. What about peak and transit dates on forecasts?
Can you repeat, please?
What about peak and transit dates on the forecasts? Not sure if...
Not sure to understand the question actually here. I don't know if you're here. Okay, so you mean that on the forecasted report, we only see the delivery date of the sales order, the final delivery date we promised to our customer, right? I cannot hear actually correctly.
Okay,
cool.
Maybe you can
maybe you can come back to me. I'm just in the booth on the other palace over there, so you can come to me and we can discuss it without any issue. Yep.
How does Odoo identify stock, reserve stock in transit? What is the feature behind to say it is transit?
Okay, that's a really good question. Basically, as soon as you are in two steps, the thing is that when the products are received in the input zone, they are not in the stock zone already, which means that they cannot be reserved through the routes you are going to configure in order to reserve that product for your customer. So as soon as they are in this zone, they will appear as in transit on the forecasted report. And as soon as they will be moved to the stock zone, the zone where you can pick actually the product for your customer, then they will appear like on hand, available, or depending on the units you have.
Okay, one other question from the pad. How do you do if you have much more orders and pickings, like 100? Do you recommend planning view? So if you have a high quantity of order, do you recommend?
Okay, so basically here, if I well understood, like if you have a lot of orders, you won't have like 100 exceptions. You will probably have like 3, 5, 10 exceptions, and you will be able to manage easily with all the fields that you are going to see on the forecasted report, or you will be able to actually transfer some quantity from one to the other instead of remixing everything with all these sales order have been triggered.
Okay. I see that someone started to type in a question. I don't know if the person is still typing, but yeah. For the moment, I don't see any other questions.
Okay, someone else there like has a question or would like to have more clarification of, yep. You mean in the transit section on the forecasted report? That's a really good question. Actually, we can have a look together because I don't want to provide the wrong answer, but definitely it's a really good question. Thank you.
We have 7 minutes, so maybe, I don't know if we have the time to dive in. Okay, I see that someone is trying to type in something.
All right.
Yeah. So, I don't know if the person list package is short. So the person is asking for list packages short explanation. Don't know if, is it someone from the room?
Okay.
No?
So list packages, a new removal strategy, okay? This one will actually trigger the optimal package in order to fulfill the demand, all right? So if you have like, in our example here, we had like 3 pallets, one with 20 solar panels, and 2 of them were like full of 10 solar panel each. Which means that if I have a demand of 20, Odoo will have a look to all the packages that have been created and will take actually the optimal one in order to set it in the reservation. Okay, it's done.
Okay, I think we're good. So, yeah.